hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Kayla, and today we are doing a few thrift flips. So in the past few months, I guess, I've picked up a couple of pieces and they need just like slight alterations to them. So today I figured I could take to the sewing machine. All of them are sewing machine projects, but I thought I could take to my sewing machine and show you guys how I'm flipping these items. Hopefully you guys will find this helpful. But yeah, I'm excited to finally get these DIYs done, get these alterations done, if you will. But before we jump into the video, don't forget to pause and go down below and hit that subscribe button. It's totally free, and I'll let you know that I upload new videos, which is every single Wednesday. I upload fashion-related content every week. Everything from styling videos to thrifting videos to aesthetic explorations to thrift flips. So if that's the kind of content you guys enjoy, feel free to subscribe down below. Now, without further ado, let's jump right on in to these thrift flips. Okay guys, so up first we have this dress here. Now I'm in love with this material. I think it is so beautiful. It's vibrant, it's bright, it's a lovely floral print, and I'm so excited to wear this for like the spring and summer. The only issue with this dress is that it has a very 80s looking drop waist. So it basically comes in at the hip instead of at the natural waistline, and I would really love to just like shorten that torso a little bit. So that is what I'm gonna do with this one. This is actually the only piece I have a definitive plan for. I've actually done this before, but I didn't document it. So I thought that I would do it again and document it with this dress here. I got this on ThredUp, and yeah, I mean, I think it's really beautiful. It's a contemporary brand, so for all of my fashion lovers, do not fear. It is not an actual 80s dress. It just has an 80s silhouette. So the goal here is to just move the waistband up to where the natural waist hits. So let's hop over to the sewing machine. I think this one's going to be pretty straightforward. So let's hop over to the sewing machine and see what magic I can work. Okay, so just one more quick look at this dress in all of its glory. As you can see, it has that very 80s silhouette with that drop waist. It comes down to my hip area. And what I want to do is basically just move it up to my natural waist. This is sort of a preview of what it will kind of look like. So sort of the first step is just to try the dress on and figure out where your natural waist is and put a couple of pins in there. Make sure that the pin is not going to poke you when you take the dress off when you put it in. The other option you can use are like those little clips that they have. And you want to put it maybe about an inch below where you actually want to cut it off to give yourself a little bit of a seam allowance. I always say it's better to cut off less than more because you can't put it back on. So add about an inch of extra space for seam allowance, and then just put a couple of pins following your natural waistline. As you can see, that is what I'm doing here. Once you've done that, you're going to either head over to your sewing table or your floor. I'm using a sewing ruler, a water-soluble pen, and then of course you're going to want to have some sewing scissors. And then I'm also using a sewing mat to lay the fabric onto some sort of hard surface since I have carpet. So basically what I'm doing is measuring where the torso ends to where the pins are and making sure that they're relatively even on both sides. You want to give it a little bit of like a U-ish shape. So you'll want the sides to be up a little further, not too dramatically, but just a little bit further than the middle. And then you're going to want to draw a very slight curved line across the bodice. Once you do that, you can use a curved ruler or you can use a straight edge ruler and just sort of use it to help you guide where you're going, or you don't have to use a ruler at all once you've drawn your line on and you're just going to cut through the fabric with, again, sewing scissors. It really does make a difference. Once you do that, I trimmed down some of the extra fabric that was left on the skirt, but I did leave some behind because I didn't actually want to take the pre-existing ruffles out of the skirt. I figured I could just flip the fabric and sew it together with the ruffles still intact. So once you do that, you're going to take your two pieces of fabric, good sides together. So basically what I like to do is stick the top bodice part inside the skirt. The top should be right side out and the skirt should be right side in, if that makes sense. It's kind of confusing. Hopefully by looking at it you can see what I'm doing here. And then you're just going to go ahead and put pins all the way around, pinning the top of the skirt and the bottom of the torso bodice part together. Something that I find really helpful when reattaching pieces that were once together is to make sure you're lining up whatever seams are available to you. So for example, with this dress, I was able to align the two side seams so that way I knew everything was straight and even as it was supposed to be. After that, you're just going to take it over to your sewing machine and sew it together. This is so simple. Yeah, once you do that, you're just going to take it to the sewing machine and sew it together. You can also finish the edges if they're a little bit rough using a zigzag stitch or a serger. I actually didn't do that because the skirt half was already serged. So I might in the future go back in and serge the bodice part, but for now I left it as is and I'm not mad at it. And this is the final product and I'm so beyond happy with how it turned out. I particularly really like it with this green belt that I have from a suit set that I thrifted out at the Goodwill, and I just think it looks so cute and it's so bright and poppy and fun, and it's just much more my style with this waistline instead of the drop waist. And yeah, pretty happy with how this one turned out. Okay, so up next I have another dress. You guys will probably have seen this if you watch my videos regularly. I did show you guys this when I thrifted it. I got this on Poshmark, and then I also shared it with you guys when I did the Wes Anderson video. I sort of just like tucked it under my bra in that video because I needed it to be shorter, and actually I just really like how this dress looks shorter, so I do want to shorten it. I'm just gonna hem it, and that is a super easy fix. And I think what I might actually do is use that extra material to just make a little belt that I can tie around my waist so it can just sort of bring in the dress a little bit. It is just a really loose and flowy shift dress, and I think it would look really nice to have just a little piece of fabric to tie around my waist to sort of highlight the curves of my body. So that's the plan with this dress. So let's head over to the sewing machine and hem this baby up. Up next we have this yellow paisley print dress, and I basically want to shorten it. So I think what I wish I would have done is shortened it from the torso, but what I'm doing here is literally just hemming it. So basically what I did is I stuck my leg out sort of to the side, because if you bend over it kind of like ruins the actual height of it, and I couldn't find my flexible measuring tape, which if you have one of those, a much better idea. But basically I'm just estimating about how many inches I want to take off. I think I decided I want to take 8 inches off of the dress. Then I just took the fabric, the dress, over to my sewing mat, and I measured about 8 inches all the way around from the bottom. You do want to have a slight curve at the bottom of the dress, which I did not do at first. As you can see, I cut a straight line. You do want to have a little bit of a curve so that it actually follows like the flow of your body. I ended up going back in and sort of fixing my straight line hem at the end, but yes, definitely put a little bit of a curve at the bottom. After you cut that, you're going to want to just bring it over to an iron and do a double rolled hem. And basically what that means is you're just folding it once over, ironing it down, and then folding it twice over. I use about 1 inch worth of fabric, so 1/2 inch per roll, and it gives you a really nice well pressed hem, and then all you literally gotta do, chuck it in the sewing machine and sew a nice basic straight stitch. Make sure you backstitch it as well so that it is in good working order. Then I took an extra couple of strips of fabric and made a little bit of a belt. Basically, you are just gonna sew a tube. So you're gonna take the long strips of fabric, fold them together. I had to piecemeal it together, so I took 2 strips of fabric and sewed them together at the ends, and then folded them right sides together so the seam would be sticking out towards me so I can see it. And then I sewed it all the way down the long side, took a Harry Potter wand that I had sitting around to flip it right side out, and then sewed the other end and made a little belt out of the matching fabric to go around the waist. And this is this little look here. I think it looks really cute. I actually am so happy with how the length turned out, and I'm glad that I went back in and sort of fixed the bottom hem after I didn't like it the first time. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Okay, and finally we have this dress here. I adore this material. I actually think that the dress looks so cute. I got this on ThredUp as well. It is from the brand Velvet Torch Los Angeles, but I just don't love how it looks on. But instead of wasting it because it was final sale, I thought maybe I would turn it into a skirt. So really my beef with it is just the top bit. I just didn't really like how it looked. I'm not really into, I thought I might like it, but I think the like bra cup sizes are a little bit too small for me. So I'm just going to, I think, chop the top bit off and try to like piecemeal together some of the leftover fabric to make a waistband, and then I'll just make like either a maxi or midi skirt. I might add a slit, I might not. We'll see as we go along, but that is sort of the plan with this. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do in terms of a closure. I don't actually have a zipper presently on me, and this dress is like a slip over your head kind of dress. So I might do elastic or button closure since I don't have a zipper, but that is something we shall figure out together. So basically what I did is I tried it on because I wanted to figure out where exactly I wanted the skirt to hit on my body. I measured about where I needed to pull it up to so that it was sitting at my natural waist, but also the correct length. Now, if you like the length of your dress and you just want to turn it into a skirt, you can literally just measure where your waist sits and then put a pin there and just chop it off, giving yourself a little bit of seam allowance. Now, I wanted to pull mine up a little bit to make it a little bit shorter. So I did mark where I wanted to pull it up, adding about 2 inches of seam allowance because we are going to be folding over the top to make a little bit of an elastic casing for a waistband. So once I have it pinned where, again, my natural waist would sit, I'm taking it over to my cutting mat. I forgot to hit the record button, but basically I just measured out where I needed to cut this and cut it along the line. It was basically just where I pinned it and then I cut it. Then I tried it on for reference to make sure that the length was good. It looked good. So then what I did is I just brought it over to my desk, which is quite small for sewing. I need a bigger sewing desk. And I basically folded a pretty wide chunk, about an inch worth of fabric over, and then tucked the raw hem underneath and pinned it all the way around. Of course, you can press this if you want to make sure you have very like stiff, firm edges that look nice and clean. And then you're going to want to sew all the way around, leaving about a 1/2 inch gap, if not a little bit more, because you're going to be threading elastic through. So you're going to want to take your elastic and put it around your waist with a little bit of pull so that it's not loose when you actually put the skirt on, just the smallest amount of pull though. And then you're gonna just cut that. Then you're gonna take the elastic, put a safety pin in one end, and feed it through the tube that you've sewn on your skirt. Once you've threaded it all the way through, you wanna make sure it's not twisted up at all. And then you're going to just put your machine on a zigzag stitch and sew the 2 ends of the elastic together, and then go ahead and change it back to a straight stitch and sew the opening closed. And voila! You are done. 10 out of 10 recommend using well matching thread for this. I did not, and if you aren't like well practiced, or if you like me struggle with sewing perfectly straight lines, so there's like a little bit of shifting, then you can definitely see it, and it's not my favorite look, but I'm still happy overall with the fit of this skirt and how it looks. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also feel free to subscribe down below. It's totally free and I'll let you know when I upload new videos, which is every single Wednesday. I upload fashion related content every single week, whether it's a thrifting video, a styling video, something like this, more of like a thrift flippy type of video, or I often do a lot of aesthetic exploration types of videos. So if that's what you're interested in, don't forget to subscribe down below. You can also feel free to check me out over on the social medias. I'm pretty active over on Instagram, so you can check me out over there, and TikTok exists and it's a thing I post on. Anyway, let me know which of these thrift flips was your favorite. I know mine right off the bat. I love how this pink dress right here, actually, this one, how the pink floral dress turned out. I'm so stoked to wear that for my mom's tea party. Oh my gosh. I also can't wait to share with you guys some of like the little DIYs and things I've been doing. I've been recording them as I go along, and eventually I'll upload them as sort of like an extra sort of video. I think that's what I'm thinking right now. So it won't take the place of like the fashion video, but I thought it could be like a nice fun little bonus video one of these fine weeks. But that's neither here nor there. The floral dress, definitely my favorite. Cannot wait to wear it for my mom's tea party. I actually really love it with that green belt as well. I do enjoy the yellow dress a little bit shorter. I think it's really cute. I think I might have preferred it if it was a little bit fuller, so if I like pulled it up at the waist as well, but not mad at it. Also, I thought it was gonna be easier to hem it. I think I lied. I think it would have been easier to just shorten the torso and reattach it, because then you don't have to deal with like rolling fabric and irons and yeah. So in the future, if I want to move a dress up and I also want to just like bring it in at the waist, I think that's what I'm gonna do, just shorten the torso. It worked a lot better, I think. And then as for the skirt, I'm not gonna lie, that is going to be fixed. I think that the concept, great, but I do think I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna bring the waist in just a smidgen so that it's not as gathered at the top, because it is just the slightest bit too big on me now that it's like functioning as a skirt. So I will probably just bring it in just a tiny bit. And then also I need to get thread that matches the material. I used a navy blue thread because the two options I had were powder blue or I had the navy blue. So I chose the navy blue because I thought it was a little bit closer to the color, which is like this sort of, also a powder blue, but more of like a muted purpley blue color. And I think I just need to get thread that matches it, because I hate how the thread, you can see the seams, and I just like, I hate that. I don't like how it looks. I don't also have like the straightest, I can't draw a straight line, let alone sew a straight line without assistance. So I think next time I have like a little presser foot magnet that will sort of guide the needle so that I can like sew it in a straight line. Because I know this is an issue. I have very shaky hands, and so I think this is what causes it. But I'm gonna just go ahead and probably just sew in the new seam and then seam rip the old one out. But aside from that, the concept, really like it. The overall look I'm happy with. Once I finish the seam at the top, I'm gonna absolutely love it, and that is gonna be a skirt I wear all the time. So yeah, those are sort of my final thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you think I'm being too hard on myself? Do you think I'm being too easy on myself? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, stay tuned. I'm really excited for next week's video. Anyway, I think that's all I really have for you guys. So don't forget, it costs absolutely nothing to be kind. So be kind to yourself and others, and I'll see you next week. Bye.